Hi everyone, welcome to Evie's Toy House, and today we are going to be making a new custom. We're going to make an Applejack Seapony. So as you might know, there's a new movie coming out later this year and it features sea ponies, and I think it would be really cute to see what Applejack looks like as a sea pony. So I have Applejack here, and this is from the Guardians of Harmony set. And what I really like about this set is that these ponies here don't have the brushable hair, so they have the molded hair, and also their necks are adjustable all the way up. So as a sea pony, she might actually want her head more vertical, and these toys actually allow them to do that. So this way we can have a sea pony that's more upright and have her tail back here. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take off her tail, so we're going to pop this off. And we also need to remove her legs. So we're going to use an X-Acto knife. So if you're doing this at home, please get your parents to help you. It's an X-Acto knife is very sharp, and you don't want to hurt yourself. So over here we're going to cut the legs. You have to be very careful. Make sure your fingers are not underneath the legs, because you don't want it to go all the way through and accidentally cut your fingers. So go real slow and it just pops off. And do the same with the other leg, where your fingers are not in the way. And cut carefully. And this plastic is actually pretty soft, so you don't have to cut too deep. Alright, so the legs are off, and now we're going to use air dry clay to build her tail. Alright, so I have a piece of air dry clay here, and we're going to shape it into a tube that's more tapered towards the end. And we're going to stick this side into Applejack. Okay, and we're going to set her legs so that we get the pose that we want. And we start to shape the tail into the shape that we want it to be. Okay, so for Applejack, this is the shape that I'm going to have her tail. So we're just going to have to wait for it to dry. Now with an X-Acto knife, we're going to cut out her tail fin. So we're going to have it dry kind of like this. Alright everyone, so the Applejack is done, and I sanded her down a little bit just so that she's a little bit smoother. There's still some imperfections here, but that's okay because we're going to cover it up with the scales. And we also have the tail. So this tail looks a lot like Applejack's ponytail. And we're going to have to glue it on here. So this is the way I had it, so that it kind of rests on it, on the floor, like that. So we're going to use some glue, and then we're going to glue it on and wait for it to dry. So Applejack's tail is glued on. I think it looks really cute like this. And now we're going to paint it. So we're going to paint the tail with a layer of the light orange mixed with a pearlizing medium. So this will make it look kind of pearly. Alright, now we're ready to make the scales for the tail. So what I'm going to use is this Sculpey translucent liquid bakeable clay. So this is a liquid clay that when you bake, it's translucent and it's also flexible. So what we're going to do is, on my Teflon sheet here, this is a non-stick bakeable sheet, a rectangular piece of this liquid clay, and we're going to need to smooth it out so that it's paper thin. But before we do that, I'm going to add some color. So we'll add some orange and add some pearlizing white, and we're going to mix. And we need to make this very, very thin. Here it is. So it's kind of an orange gradient, and now we have to go and bake it. this is done, it's nice and baked, and we can peel it off the sheet. As you can see, this is very thin and flexible. Isn't that cool? Now we're going to take a hole punch and punch little round circles with it. So as you can see here, this little circle is actually very, very thin. Applejack is dried and she looks really good. So I really like the way her tail is posed. That's a very different kind of look. And as you can see, there's some imperfections in the clay here, but that's going to be okay because we're going to put some scales on it. So right now I have my, this is a little bit of Mod Podge. So this is the glue that we're going to use. And we're using it because it dries transparent. And over here I have all my little circles cut out. They're in different gradients of orange and yellow. And so we're going to start layering it on to Applejack's tail. So down here I have a few small circles. I had a smaller hole puncher that I made little circles with, and we're going to use that on this part of the tail, just that very narrow section, and then the rest of it is going to be the larger circles. Okay, so let's start by putting a layer of Mod Podge. And it's a little bit hard in the beginning because the glue is still very damp, but once it becomes stickier, it'll be easier to fold the clay down so that it's shaped to the shape of the tail. So we're going to wait for that. We're just going to keep piling on these circles and then we'll press it down later. Alright, next we're going to add the larger circles. So this is going to be a very slow process. What we want to do is add the scales one row at a time. So you kind of stack them over each other so they're overlaying each other about halfway. And then once that row is mostly dried, you can start on the second row. It's also a little bit harder to work on the end of the tail since that part is a lot more narrow and we need to fold the circle a little bit more. But once we get to the larger part of the tail, it'll be a little bit easier. So at this point we are about halfway done. And as you can see, it's starting to look really, really good. So we have the darker orange, some yellow, and the lighter oranges all mixed in for that scale effect. And there are a few pieces that's going to be open like this where there's not enough glue. And that's easily fixed by just adding some more glue and then pressing it back down. So to finalize the tail, this is what I'm going to be doing, adding some glue to these little flaps that are open and press them down. So I'm going to continue working and finish the rest of the tail. Alright everyone, so my third sea pony is complete and I think Applejack looks fantastic. Take a look at her. Her tail is really, really cool. I just love this effect. The scales look really nice, especially with that bit of glitter on top that I added afterwards. Makes it really shimmery and kind of glimmers. And what's really great about using these ponies is that the front is still posable. So the front legs are still posable and the head is posable. So what's really nice is that she can be actually more upright like this. So it looks like she is swimming, or her head can be tilted back when she is at rest, so that the way I made her so that her tail actually rests on the bottom like this, and both her legs up in the front can be up. This is super cool. So if you want to play with her, you can have her more upright and just have her be swimming. And of course we have our other two ponies. We do have Pinkie Pie that I made last time. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And she is a lot of fun too. And I really like the way her head also can move and adjust her pose. Princess Skystar is different. She was more of a different pony, and so her body doesn't, or rather her neck doesn't move, and she's not as poseable. And also she doesn't have the scales. So when I first made her, I really liked her, but now that I see these other two ponies with the scales, I almost want to go back and add the scales. So let me know down below in the comment section what you think of these sea ponies, and if you want to see me make the rest of the main 6. If you guys don't like it, I won't make any more, just because these are so tedious to make with each of these tiny little scales. So give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, and I'll go ahead and make the other main 6. As always, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!